Good day, my students, and welcome to the presentation of the module Teaching and Assessment Mentoring TMB22. My name is Teddy S. Shikokuma, and I am your tutor. I will be here with you in a few minutes just to present to you the content of this module and then for you to prepare quite well for the examination that is coming very soon. Before I go in details, I would like to refer you to the action verbs that are available at the beginning of your modules, because those are the action verbs that we use when we are drafting up the questions. And if you master the action verbs and you know what is required from you, you will be able to master the content and master the questions and perform quite well in your examination. So sit back and relax and take note of what we are going to deal with in a moment. In this module, as I said, I'm going to present to you the content. The content of the module, so that you'll be able to prepare and see what you need to pay attention to. But as I said, the whole module is very important, and the questions will be drafted or they will be set as per the whole module. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, let's go through this. As a student of IOL, you must be able to outline points that might give initial indication of a positive school culture. So we are talking about school culture, and there are points that should be taken into consideration when we are talking about positive school culture. Not only school culture as such, as a mere school culture, but positive. What are the points? So you must be able to outline. And I'm taking you back to the action verbs. Outline. What does it mean? How do we go about it if we are asked to outline? You are simply giving. So you must be able to give these points. And ladies and gentlemen, you must also be able to discuss the functions of the principal to create a coaching or mentoring culture in school. You know, you are a student today, but tomorrow you're going to be a head of department. You're going to be a principal. So now you must know what are the functions of the principal when creating a coaching or mentoring culture in a school. So must be able to discuss these functions. You must also be able to explain the importance of a vision statement of a school. Explain the importance of a vision statement of a school. You know, each school has a vision statement. I know there was a time when the Minister of Education has asked each and every school to formulate their mission statement and write them at the front of the gate of the school. So you must be able now to explain why is it important that we should have a vision statement at school. Ladies and gentlemen, you must also be able to analyze the extrinsic subcategories of rewards. We are talking about rewards. At schools, you know, each school was supposed to award, to reward the teachers, to reward the learners for the work that they have done. So now, but this one we are saying extrinsic subcategories of rewards. So you must be able to analyze this. You should also be able to analyze the administration of a learner's feedback system. Administration, you know, we are talking about administration of learner's feedback system. You must be able to analyze that. And explain the induction of a new teacher, for example. You know, most of the schools, they are having this system in place whereby if a new teacher has started at school, first of all, before the teacher is given the class that, okay, go to this class, this is the class that you are going to teach, or this is the subject you are going to teach, they have to be inducted, not only on the subject content, but other administrative issues. They have to be inducted also to know the school ground. Where are the bathrooms? Where is the kitchen? Where are the classes? Who are the personnel? Who is the gateman? Who is the cleaner? Who is the teacher for what subject, who's the head of department, the principal, and so forth. So this is very necessary. To some, they don't do this. And if the teacher is not inducted, the teacher will act like a soul, lost sheep. So, but if the induction is in place, then the teacher will be able to feel comfortable and will be able to be effective throughout his teaching career. So therefore, you must be able to explain the induction of new teacher. You must be able to outline the points that are vital for the purpose of performance management. So we are emphasizing, or the Ministry of Education, for example, in Namibia, is emphasizing on the performance management. So here, ladies and gentlemen, you must be able to outline the points that are important for the purpose of performance management. So that information can be found in your module. Explain the purpose of performance management. Yes. Why performance management? What purpose does it serve? Is it very necessary? Is it very needed? So you must be able to explain this. Analyze the benefits of providing ongoing feedback. Anyone, whatever you have done, if somebody has observed you, evaluated you, you can't wait to get that feedback. So here, you must be able to analyze the benefits of providing ongoing feedback. This information is also available in your module. Outline key principles for providing effective ongoing feedback. Here these two are interlinked, but the first one is the benefits, while this one is the principles. What are the key principles for providing effective ongoing feedback? And then the next one, ladies and gentlemen, you must also be able to explain how learners benefit directly from mentoring, because mentoring is not only meant for the new teachers, but it's also meant for the learners. But how do they benefit directly from this mentoring? You must also be able to state strategic game plan that schools depend on in terms of mentoring. The game plan, very important. Strategic game plan that the school depend on in terms of mentoring. You must also be able to explain how a successful mentoring culture benefits the school. If you have a successful mentoring culture at school, how does it benefit the school? You must be able to explain that. Outline the internal structure should a school have in order to support a successful mentoring culture, because there must be internal structure existing in the school, because if it doesn't exist, then it's very difficult to support a successful mentoring culture. So there is a need to have an internal structure that a school should have in order to support a successful mentoring culture. Ladies and gentlemen, you must also be able to evaluate the requirements that have to be considered when designing a successful mentoring program. What are the requirements that are necessary, that should be followed when someone is trying to design a successful mentoring program? Because a successful mentoring program must be designed at school by the staff members, perhaps by the school principal, with the management, with other teachers, just to make sure that it's designed to meet the requirements of the school. And you should also be able to discuss the components that are characteristics of a school culture. What are those components? Look at the components. Discuss them. Discuss these components that are the characteristics of a school culture. Ladies and gentlemen, you must also be able to analyze possible barriers. As much as we have the components, we have successful program, mentoring program, there are also barriers for creating a culture in a school. Analyze these possible barriers for creating a coaching culture, because there should be coaching culture in the school. But anyway, there might be barriers, and these are the barriers that you need to analyze. Give examples of types of intrinsic rewards and discuss each. Just examples. You're only giving examples, but each of the example of intrinsic rewards must be discussed separately. Evaluate ways of obtaining information from learners. What are these ways? You must be able to evaluate these ways. If you want to obtain, you want to get information from the learners, what are the ways that you should utilize? You must list important factors of good teaching. What are the important factors of a good teaching? Because there must be factors that you can consider that they are of good teaching. Highlight the activities that encompasses performance management. What are those activities that someone can utilize in order to make sure that the performance management, highlight the activities that encompasses, that are available, or that made up the performance management. Discuss why it's important to manage performance management. That's also important, because performance management must be managed. But why is it important to manage them? So you should give a discussion on this aspect. And you should bring forth and discuss the phases of performance management. There must be phases. What are those phases? Discuss them. Don't just mention them, but you should go into details in order to discuss them. And wherever you are, there is always resistance for different reasons. Now, you should explain why teachers resist performance management. Why do they resist? Why do they try to block and ignore and not really, going into that? They don't want that performance management. Why? What are the reasons? They're outlined in your books, but you must be able to explain them. You must also be able to present the characters needed for effective ongoing feedback. The characters that are needed whenever somebody is giving what we call an effective ongoing feedback. Ladies and gentlemen, you must also be able to explain what self-assessment allows teachers to do if you are doing self-assessment, because it's healthier not only to be assessed by someone as a teacher, but you want to have that self-assessment yourself. You assess yourself. See, am I doing things the right way? You assess yourself and you evaluate yourself. You assess yourself and see where you stand. Are you doing things the right way? Okay? So you must also be able to explain what self-assessment allows teachers to do. Evaluate the relationship between mentorship and performance management, because somebody has to be mentored, and then you have to find out, is this person that I'm mentoring improving? Is the person performing according to the mentorship that is given? You should be able to outline the characteristics that mentors should possess, the characteristics that a mentor should have. What are they? Outline, as simple as that. You should also be able to outline the benefits of school audits, because we do school audits. Are they beneficiary anyhow? Outline those benefits of school audits. You must also be able to present the key areas of auditing. What are the key areas? When somebody is doing the auditing, the concentration, key areas of auditing. Describe a school with a good culture. When do you categorize that this school has a good culture? What are the characteristics? What should they possess? How do you categorize that a school is having a good culture? outline topics that training sessions for mentors could cover. So there should be some topics that should be, you know, whenever somebody is being mentored, being mentored, what are the topics that should be concentrated on? Discuss the functions of the principal to create a coaching or mentoring culture in school. What are the functions of the school principal for him to create a coaching or mentoring culture in a school? Must also be able to establish the goals of an induction program. Goals. What is the induction program aimed to achieve at the end of the day? You should be able to give those goals. You should also be able to outline practices of effective learning for a good induction program. How do we say that this is a good induction program? It's when it's having effective or practical skills or practical or practices that someone can employ. Performance management. Give a description of performance management. We have been speaking about performance management, and it's available at your schools. Performance management is being utilized at your school. Give the description, not the definition, but the description. Explain ways to be taken into an account to reduce resistance to performance management, because as I said, there will always be resistance to performance management, but there must be a way of reducing it. What are those points to be taken into consideration in order to reduce the performance management resistance? Reasons why assessment tools can be of a value to the teacher. Why should self-assessment tools can be of much value to a teacher? You should discuss the organizational dimensions of peer learning. Peer learning, we should know what is peer learning first of all, and then it's when you'll be able to discuss the organizational dimensions that are involved in peer learning. You must also be able to explain the benefits of parent mentoring. Parents also need to be mentored. What are the benefits? Because if you have mentored parents, what are the likelihoods? What are the end results you are expecting if the parents are mentored? Because these are the parents of the learners that we are teaching as a teacher. Outline the benefits, the guideline for effective employee recognition. You know, if the employees are not being recognized, then you are expecting something different. Because, you know, if I am a teacher, I want to be recognized for the work that I am doing. I know I'm being paid for to do that work. But if I get recognition from my head of department, if I get recognition from my principal, my inspector of education, my director or deputy director, my advisory teacher, or perhaps the minister, then I will be able to perform well. Here, what you are going to do is to outline the guidelines for effective employee recognition. You must also be able to name the practices for effective learning that a good induction program should be. We have looked at that already. You must also be able to explain mentoring strategies that can be used to assist teachers with their task. Here we are looking at the strategies, mentoring strategies. Discuss how the impact of teacher monitoring and learning result could be evaluated. And ladies and gentlemen, we have finally come to the end of the presentation. What I would like to urge you to do is to prepare thoroughly for examination and assignments whenever you are writing assignments. So the advice is revise all the units. There are no units that are more important than the other. They are equally important. So you should please revise all of them. And I would like to urge you also to go to the beginning of your module. There are those action verbs. And those are the verbs that we use when we are designing the questions. If you understand each of those verbs, then you are not going to experience problems in tackling any of the questions that are in the examination. You must answer what is asked. If the verb is saying describe, please don't go and define. If the verb is saying explain, don't go and list. If the verb is saying outline, don't go and do the analysis. So you should understand what the verb is saying and the meaning of each verb, of course. And please, you should utilize the experience, because some of the questions are general. Utilize the experience that you have gained as a teacher or as a student teacher. And please, I beg you, do not, and I repeat, do not leave any question unattended. There's nothing that is called difficult question. So the questions are easy. It depends on the way you approach them. And also, if you attempt. If you leave it blank, it will be difficult, because that's how you term it. But if you, the moment you attempt that question, try to answer, then things will flow. Consult other sources to gain more experience and expand your knowledge. And all the best of luck. I'm reachable at those mobile 0811480977 or 0812531801. Available from 8 o'clock in the morning to 18 in the evening, Monday to Sunday. But I also request you to email me. Drop me an email. My email address is t_shikukuma@yahoo.co.uk.